kitchen, y'all. It is 1 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon, and that means I'm having my live cooking class. And today, y'all, we are making a Hearty Walnut Meat Marinara. Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut Marinara. Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Marinara. Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, ayy. Hearty Walnut Marinara. Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Marinara. Y'all, this is one of my favorite recipes in the whole world. It's that Hearty Marinara along with that raw vegan walnut meat. It's gonna be so fabulous. And of course, we're gonna put some smoky flavors in there as well, y'all. So if you're at home cooking with me, right now we're gonna first go over all of our ingredients and then we're gonna start cooking, y'all. But before we do any of that, y'all, look what I got right here. I got me some celery juice. I just made it fresh. It cleanses my body, y'all. And I try to drink about 1 cup or at least like 1 big glass of this delicious green magic at least 5 times a week. That's kind of like how much I need. I feel like I try to do more every day, but you know, sometimes it doesn't work. So if you're at home and you got celery juice, cheers to you, y'all. Celery juice, celery juice. I'm drinking me some celery juice. Whoa, celery juice, celery juice. I'm drinking me some celery juice. And I hope you're drinking too. I hope you have yourself a big glass of celery juice too. So I'm gonna take a good swig, y'all, and then we can get going and glowing. Celery juice. All right, y'all, so first things first, of course, we have to wash our hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. We're gonna wash our hands. So I'm gonna pop over here to my sink, wash my hands real quick. And y'all should do the same thing because listen, we live in wacky and wavy, wild times. So already make sure you're washing your hands, all right? Get yourself some good soap. Get yourself some water. Y'all, and y'all can sing along with me if you want to. Wash your hands. 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 Make sure to get all good scrub in there, y'all. We're trying to make a delicious, clean meal. It's gonna satisfy all the people we love. So, time to rinse off, y'all. Rinse your hands. Rinse your hands. Rinse your hands with a towel. Reusable. Help the earth. Rinse your hands with a reusable towel. This is one of my favorite towels because it's just simple. I can splash up the rest of my kitchen with color, vibrancy, and I got this nice little gray sturdy towel to help me through. All right, y'all, so let's go through all of our ingredients. The first thing we're gonna be making today is our perfect Parmesan, y'all. And I don't know if y'all have ever made a vegan Parmesan from scratch, but this is my recipe and this is how I do it. What you're gonna need is some nutritional yeast. 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 You're gonna need some nutritional yeast, y'all. If you can't tell, I add nutritional yeast and maple syrup into all of my recipes. So get yourself some nutritional yeast. Get yourself about half a cup. Depends on how much of that delicious, perfect Parmesan you want to make today. And then get yourself some raw cashews, raw cashews, raw cashews, raw cashews. We went low and then we went high with it, y'all, because that's how a cashew do. It brings you so much joy and then you're like, dang, I ate too many cashews and now I feel kind of chunky. Because that's at least for me, y'all. I be going in on the cashews. I don't know about y'all. But today, we're going to be using it to make our perfect Parmesan. We're going to sprinkle that on top of our Hearty Walnut Meat Marinara spaghetti. And the other ingredients you're going to use in this is optional, of course. If you have it at home, go in and glow in, you know what I'm saying? But this is our Indian black salt. This has a ton of sulfur in it, so it's going to get a nice little eggy taste to it. Just gives it a different dynamic flavor than you would with any other kind of Parmesan. So get yourself some of that if you have that. And then garlic powder, onion powder, garlic powder, onion powder. Garlic powder and onion powder, we're going to use this all throughout our recipes, so make sure you have this in your kitchen. These are kind of tiny containers because y'all, the grocery stores, they be limited on the season. I'm like, ooh, everybody taking my seasonings. That's fine. I'll see how it is. All right, and then the other ingredients we're going to need, obviously, are pink Himalayan salt and then some black pepper. You don't have to have pink Himalayan salt. Y'all, that's just the flavor that I personally enjoy oh so much. And then also, y'all, get yourself some Italian seasoning. If you don't got Italian seasoning at home, that's all right. We can raid our cupboards and find whatever else it will work out in this recipe. But what's in this recipe, that has marjoram, rosemary, thyme, sage, and oregano, and basil. And if you don't have all of those ingredients, that's okay, y'all. Right now, I also have some parsley flakes that I'm gonna be throwing in there, and then some ground thyme. So you can kind of use whatever kind of green dried herb you want to use in this hearty marinara sauce. Also, y'all, smoked paprika, hey, smoked paprika, hey, hey. We got smoked paprika, y'all. Y'all know I add this into so many of my recipes. These are like the trifecta of all seasonings that I do. Nutritional yeast, smoked paprika, and then some maple syrup, y'all. These things will funk it up for you, all right? So we're gonna add in some of that smoked paprika, hey, hey. We're gonna add some of that smoked paprika, and like I said, y'all, maple syrup, maple syrup, hey. Maple syrup, maple syrup. I love my maple syrup. She gets her own little special song because she just always does me right. All right, oh y'all, liquid smoke, liquid smoke. Liquid smoke, liquid smoke. Y'all, if you saw on my Instagram story, I posted about this liquid smoke. You can get this pretty much at any grocery store. Typically, it's in like the barbecue sauce area, anywhere that has like hot sauces and mustards and ketchups and things like that. So this liquid smoke, y'all, we're gonna add it into that hearty walnut meat, and it's gonna make everything so smoky, fabulous, flavorful, and fierce. All right, let's see what else we have. Oh, let's get our grapeseed oil. You don't have to use grapeseed oil. If you don't got grapeseed oil, that's okay. If you don't got grapeseed oil, that's okay. You can use coconut oil. You can use aquafaba also. Y'all know I sometimes go in with the veggie broth as well. Anything that'll help get all of those ingredients going, glowing, and about to go inside of your mouth. All right? Also, y'all, what I have here is I emptied out a big can of my tomato sauce. So typically, I really like to get a organic tomato sauce that doesn't have any added in sugars or seasoning or citric acid or whatever else extraness is in there. So what I have today is some sauce that doesn't have any of that extraness. We're gonna add in all that sweetness, that savoriness, that sexiness, that sauciness with all of our seasonings, y'all. All right, and then what else do we have? Ooh, we have our gluten-free noodles. It doesn't really matter what kind of noodles you're using. These are the spaghetti noodles. I love this brand, y'all. Check this brand out. I've noticed that if I cook them a very specific way, and I'll show y'all how, basically it's half on heat, half off the heat, all right? That's just what I found is the best way to cook gluten-free noodles. This brand, though, doesn't get mushy. It's fabulous, and it's wonderful. All right, speaking of water, let me get that boiling so I can show y'all how to cook those noodles. Okay, y'all, so I went through most of our ingredients that I told y'all about. The other thing we're gonna add in here as well, this is for our Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut Marinara, Hearty Walnut Meat. This is for our Hearty Walnut Meat. These are some sun-dried tomatoes. You can get them if they're either dry or you can get them in oil. We're gonna add in a little bit of our own oil. So if you don't got oily sun-dried tomatoes, that's okay, all right. All right, and then we also have some sunflower seeds. So the thing is typically about this recipe actually is I'll use mushrooms and the walnuts and the sun-dried tomatoes, but today, since we're using pantry stable items, I decided to skip out on those mushrooms, and instead we're going to be using some sunflower seeds to add in more texture and depth and crunch. Also, y'all, we got our walnuts, 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 Hearty walnuts. These are what is going to be inside to make our Hearty walnut meat, y'all. So I think we've gone over all our ingredients. The only thing I else want to tell y'all about is what I've done is I've gotten a white onion, and of course this is not a pantry staple item, but onions actually do last a very long time. And what I have here is also some minced garlic, and this came in a container full, like a huge container of minced garlic, which was pantry was made for the pantry, but then obviously after you open it, you gotta put it back in the fridge. So I'm gonna be using these in our recipe today as well, but you don't have to. If you don't have these at home, that's all good. What I did here is I just diced up my tomato into tiny, tiny little pieces. This is what's gonna start off that delicious Hearty Marinara. And then we're gonna add in this wonderful garlic, just to create depth, flavor, and seasoning, y'all. So let's get going, y'all, and let's get going. All right, the first thing we're gonna work on today is going to be our perfect Parmesan, perfect Parmesan, perfect Parmesan, perfect Parmesan. We're gonna be working on our perfect Parmesan, and what you need for this is a food processor, y'all. So I'm gonna let y'all take your time, go grab your food processor out of your cupboards and put it on and smack it into some kind of electrical device that will let it turn on. And I'll let y'all set that up for a moment. And while y'all are doing that, I'm gonna talk to you about these ingredients that are gonna go inside of our perfect Parmesan, perfect Parmesan. Our perfect Parmesan. What we have here are those cashews, those raw cashews that I'm addicted to. We're gonna be adding in about half a cup of these raw cashews. Just like that. And you can make this however much of this perfect Parmesan you want to. You can use it for later, you can eat it all now. You can put it into some like cheesy butter noodles. Just make the noodles with just the Parmesan. Ooh, that sounds fabulous, delicious, wonderful in every single way. So let's also add in some of our nutritional yeast. Our nutritional yeast, y'all, we're gonna be adding in about 1/4 of a cup. Give it a nice sprinkle in your food processor. Hopefully you got your food processors out. Your food processors. That is something to say. Food processors. Yeah, we'll come back to that. That's a nice little tongue twister for you. So hopefully you got your food processor out and you got all your ingredients ready to go. And I'm gonna start off with that perfect Parmesan. So I have my cashews. I also have my nutritional yeast. And I just mix them together in my beautiful food processor. And then what else I'm gonna add in here are my garlic powder, onion powder, garlic powder, onion powder, garlic powder and onion powder. I'm gonna be adding in about a tablespoon of each. So sprinkle that in, add in that seasoning, y'all. You're gonna hear this a lot as I go throughout. I'm all about the seasoning, y'all. And y'all know why. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Seasoning is everything. Seasoning is everything. Whoa, seasoning is everything. When you're making vegan food, when you're making any food, when you're making any food, y'all, seasoning is what you got to go in on, especially if you want people to be addicted to all those flavors. All right, so we added in our onion powder. Let's add in our garlic powder, garlic powder. Let's add in that garlic powder. And y'all feel free to sing along too. If y'all need me to sing another song, remind y'all about what the song is, don't worry, we gonna come back to all of it, y'all. Ooh, she looks like she is getting nice and hot. How's she doing? Ooh, she is. Come on, boil, baby, boil. All right, so what I've done is I've already got my water boiling in my pot, and this is what the noodles are gonna go in. So you can start your water if you want to. Grab yourself a pot, put it on your stove, get your water boiling, ready to go. All right, so I added in my garlic powder, my onion powder, my nutritional yeast, my cashews, and guess what's next? What is next is going to be a splash of some salt. Just a little splash. I would say not even half of a tablespoon or half of a teaspoon, because we're gonna be adding in some of this Indian black salt in here as well. So add in about half of a teaspoon of that. If you have the Indian black salt, if you don't got the Indian black salt, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You can still make it delicious. Just add in some of that salt, maybe add in a little bit of pepper if you want some more dynamic flavors going on there. So, all right, we have all of our ingredients. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit more of my nutritional yeast because I want this nooshy and delicious. I don't know if y'all call it noosh. Sometimes I'll call it noosh, nutritional yeast. It don't really matter. It's all delicious and fabulous. It has tons of B12 in it, so it's all good. All right, y'all, I'm gonna pulse this, and then we'll have perfect Parmesan. All right. Look at y'all. Look at this, y'all. This is coming out. This is seriously the best it's ever turned out before. Wow. Coming out so crumbly and just gonna go on top of our Hearty Marinara. Y'all, okay, keep pulsing it until it's perfect. All right. I think our perfect Parmesan is ready, y'all. Look at this. Oh my goodness, and it has a delicious smell in it. So what it looks like now is just nice, small pieces that we're just gonna sprinkle on top. It should be nice and sandy, just like that, y'all. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna leave this to the side because we're gonna use the same food processor to make our Hearty Walnut Meat. All right, let me clear this out for y'all. So why don't you get yourself a bowl? You can get yourself a bowl that closes on top, that way you can save this for later. Get your perfect Parmesan, transfer it to another bowl. Oh, y'all, this already smells fabulous. I really, really, really like that black salt in there. Wow, it adds in just more dynamic flavor. All right, so I'm gonna leave this off to the side, and that's it, y'all. That's how you make that perfect Parmesan. Ooh, I just got sprinkles all over me. And it was like an explosion of nutritional yeast. Perfect. All right, y'all, let's move on to that Hearty Marinara. Like I said, we're gonna start off with some grapeseed oil or some aquafaba or some veggie broth or whatever you have. Just start your recipe off. Why don't you pour in about 1 tablespoon of whatever oil or substance, liquid you're using to get this going and get this glowing. All right, and then make sure it's just spread all throughout the pan, because what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put in my onions. Like I said, hopefully y'all got some onions hidden away somewhere. Maybe you stocked up before things got too wild. So what I'm gonna do is add in some of those white onions, and I would add in about 1/4 of a cup to 1/2 a cup. Depends on how much onion you like. Some people like more onion flavor, some people like less onion flavor. I'm just gonna add that in. Perfect. All right. And then, y'all, we're gonna let these babies cook on down, just like this. I'm gonna turn this up nice and hot. That way these can cook nice and quickly. So I'm just moving all of my onions in my pot, and that way, all of that flavor is gonna seep out and into that Hearty Marinara. So while this is cooking down, I'm gonna come check in on y'all and see what questions y'all have for me. Because I see y'all have been writing things down. First, I'm gonna check on Facebook. Hello, Facebook world, how y'all doing? Thank you for all the love. Yes, maple syrup. Yes, you better eat that sweet potato. Better eat that sweet potato. Thank you for all the love, Facebook. I hope y'all are having fun cooking at home. All right, y'all. Thank you. Y'all are all so kind. Just sending love, peace. Yes. Please try and cook the spaghetti with me. That would be so much fun. Y'all sending all these heart eyes. I love it. I will teach you how to have this kind of energy. The way you have this energy, y'all, is singing, cooking, and also obviously eating delicious food and doing good to the world, loving people the way that you want to be loved. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. So let's see how our onions and oil are doing. Like I said, if you do not have onions at home, that's okay. I ain't gonna judge you. I'm not gonna be mad at you for it. I'm gonna let you do whatever you got to do. Let her cook up. Yes. All right, y'all. So I do have another song about onions and oil. So I hope y'all at home who don't got onions don't feel left out, but I'm gonna sing it anyways. 5, 6, 7, 8. Cooking is easy and fun when you sing. Onions and oil can make anything. Cooking is easy and fun when you sing. Onions and oil can make anything. Onions and oil can make anything. Onions and oil can make anything. They can really start off any recipe, y'all. And you can also do onions and veggie broth can make anything. Onions and aquafaba can make anything. Onions and coconut oil. That one's a little bit harder to say. Onions and coconut oil, coconut oil, oh, oh. Ooh, all right, I see you boiling. Our water is getting nice and hot. All right, let's see, is she getting hot for me? There she is, all right, she's getting nice and toasty. You know what, y'all, just so I can get this going nice and quick, I'm gonna put this on my real stove in the background. That way, y'all, we can get this marinara and your girl can eat. Because, y'all, this is my first meal of the day. This is my first meal of the day. I don't know if y'all practice intermittent fasting like I do, but y'all, sometimes I don't be eating until like 2, 3, 4 sometimes. But it's all typically when I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to feast, which is totally a day like today. So let's get this pot going. And since this is cooking over here, we can move on to our walnut meat, y'all. That way we'll be able to eat even quicker. So I have my food processor. I already made my perfect Parmesan. Perfect Parmesan. Perfect Parmesan. And now it's okay if you still have some of those little ingredients in there from that Nutritional Yeast. Just gonna add more flavor and seasoning and sexiness in there. So, y'all, let's move on to that Hearty Walnut Meat. Hearty Walnut, ayy. Hearty Walnut Marinara. Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut. Hearty Marinara. Hearty Walnut Meat, y'all. This is one of my oldest recipes, and I've been making it literally since the jump. Since back when I first went vegan, I was like, well, dang, girl, you gotta figure this out. They didn't have all the fancy things that they have now, y'all. So this is what I used to make when I'm still making now. Add in about a cup of your walnuts. You can add in less if you want to, depends on however much you're making for your family, your friends, your loved ones, your quarantine buddies, your at-home friends, whoever you got who's gonna be eating this meal. I'm gonna be adding in 1 cup because Ace and I are about to feast on this. Ooh, I hear our onions sizzling in the background. If your onions are already cooking and you're following along, that's okay, just turn down that heat and I'll come right back up to y'all whenever my onions are good and beautiful. All right, y'all hear that? Sizzle, sizzle goes the onions. Sizzle, sizzle goes the onions, y'all. All right, let's add in some of our other ingredients. Let's add in that sunflower seeds. I'm gonna be adding in about 1/2 cup of my sunflower seeds. Gonna give it a nice different kind of crunch, also a good depth and flavor. All right, y'all, and then let's add in those sun-dried tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes. Let's add in those sun-dried tomatoes. I'm adding in about 1/2 of a cup. Perfect. All right, let's give this a nice good stir. It sounds like our onions are cooking up real good. Oh, yes. Cooking is easy and fun when you sing. Onions and oil can make anything. Cooking is easy and fun when you sing. Onions and oil can make anything. This is coming along so beautifully. I'm gonna bring it over here that way. I can let y'all see all that beautiful steam that's coming on top. So if you got your onions cooked down, the next thing you're gonna wanna add in there is about 1 tablespoon of some minced garlic if you got it. If you don't got the minced garlic, if you don't got the onions, that's okay. You still got your perfect Parmesan and you still got your hearty walnut meat. And we're still gonna be making this sauce. Y'all just follow along, follow along. All right, I have my garlic and then my oil. Ace is cracking me up right now, y'all. He's trying to not be seen in this video, so he's literally crawling on the floor. Yes, that's his hand. He was literally crawling on the floor, and I couldn't ignore it. I was like, well, he's there. He helped me set up all of this, y'all. I'm so forever grateful, and I'm excited, and he's probably excited because we get to feast. So, got your onions and your minced garlic. Onions and your minced garlic. Onions and minced garlic. Onions and minced garlic. Onions and minced garlic. Onions and minced garlic, y'all. They come through for your girl, all right? So, you got it in your pot. The next thing we're going to add in there is all of our seasoning and our spice. And make sure the last thing you put in there is going to be all of that delicious tomato sauce. Because if you add in the tomato sauce a little bit too quickly, someone's going to pop up at you, and it's not a cute situation. Speaking of which, while we're letting these onions and this garlic, minced garlic cook down, I'm going to go get a top for this, because what we're going to do is we're going to let everything boil and cook down at a nice medium heat. And then, y'all, we're going to pour it over our spaghetti. Whoa, pour it over our spaghetti. Pour it over our spaghetti. Ooh, that one's a little too small. Let me grab the other one. There she goes. There she goes. The beautiful top that's going to fit over this and help me cook this baby up. So if you are at home following along, hello, hello, and welcome. We made our perfect Parmesan out of our cashews and our nutritional yeast, and then all of our seasoning. And now what we have in here is some oil, some onions, and some minced garlic. And if you don't got the minced garlic or the onions, that's okay. Start off with that oil, and let's add in our seasoning. Let's add in our seasoning. Let's add in our seasoning. Let's add in that seasoning, y'all. This is my favorite part of the journey. So make sure things are cooking down nice and clear, first and foremost. And once things are cooked down, let's add in some of that Italian seasoning. And I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of whatever kind of Italian seasoning you got going on. Add that in there. This is going to add in tons of depth. So if you just have the grapeseed oil and the seasoning, just start that going in your pot and get that nice and warm. I'm going to also add in some of those parsley flakes as well, just for a different dynamic flavor. I'm all about different kinds of zest, flavor, spice, and sexiness coming through, especially in a Hearty Marinara. All right, make sure you are mixing those seasonings around. That way you don't want it to get burnt on the bottom, because burnt food don't taste good. Burnt food don't taste good. Burnt food don't taste good, no. Burnt food don't taste good, okay? So let's add in a little bit of smokiness though, because you know smokiness tastes good. Let's add in about 1 tablespoon of that smoked paprika. Hey, hey, hey. Smoked paprika. Hey, hey, hey. Smoked paprika. Hey, hey. She also gets her own special song because she my girl. My smoked paprika. She look out for me every time. All right. Y'all, let's add in that maple sexy syrup. You can add in however much you want. This is mainly just to balance out the acidity of that tomato. So I'm going to be adding in about 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons, depending on however much you're making. Yes, sizzle, baby. Cook on up. Get her nice and warm and cooked in the pot. So whenever you're doing this, you want to make sure that your pan is not too hot, because obviously you don't want to burn all those ingredients at the bottom. And make sure you're just moving all those ingredients around as you keep your pot nice and hot. All right, so I have my maple syrup. Let me add in just a touch more, I think, because y'all know I like to add in that little bit of sweetness. Add in that little bit of sweetness. Ooh, your girl kind of spilled a little bit. That's okay. That's why we got towels, y'all. All right, I always like, ooh, yes, you gotta cook on up. Delicious. All right, keep it nice and low and slow. We're gonna cook it and let it go. Next, let's add in that salt and that pepper, y'all. You can add in however much you want. I'm gonna be adding in about 1/2 tablespoon of my salt, and the same thing with my pepper. Pepper, hot, pepper, salt, pepper, salt, pepper, salt, pepper, salt, pepper, salt, pepper, salt, pepper, Pepper and salt are so important, y'all. They really, I mean, come on now. What would you do if you didn't have salt and pepper? They are just the mighty seasonings, okay? Honestly, I don't make anything without salt and pepper. And honestly, I don't really make a lot without smoked paprika, if we're being 100%. So add in that flavor and that seasoning and that spice and cook that all into your onions or into your oil. If you have your oil, you should be creating like a nice, juicy, oily, wonderful batch of seasoning at the very bottom. And they're gonna add in all of that marinara sauce. All right, y'all. Last thing we have to add in here is that garlic powder and that onion powder. Garlic powder, onion powder. Such important seasonings, y'all. We're gonna add in about 1 tablespoon of each. Sprinkle that in, add in that garlic powder and that onion powder, y'all, and watch the magic flow. All right, mix that in, add that into either your oil or your onions. And next, y'all, all you have to do is add in that marinara, that Hearty Marinara. I'm mixing all of my ingredients, and now y'all, get your marinara. If you have to open up your can, that's all good. Take your time, do what you gotta do. I'm gonna pour in my marinara. Yes, add in a delicious ingredient. This is gonna be the main part. This is gonna add all that flavor, seasoning, spice, and heartiness. And what's also fierce about adding in those onions and the garlic, that also adds in a nice extra bit of bite and heartiness when you're making this. So mix in all of your ingredients. Make sure that you're stirring in the middle of your pot. That way it won't boil up too hot. And you know what, y'all? I'm gonna add in just a touch more of my salt, my pepper, and my maple syrup just to make things groovy and sexy. You can add in however much you believe that you want. Like I said, 2 tablespoons of the maple syrup is typically what I go for, and then the salt and the pepper is about 1 tablespoon of the salt, 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of the salt, and then same thing with the pepper. But add in however much you want. A lot of people's diets are different with how they take in sodium and stuff like that. But for me, y'all, I'm a salt fiend to have a salty tooth. So mix all of that in, and we're gonna let this cook on like a medium low and just let this simmer in its sexiness and in its juices, y'all. And then we can move on to our Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut. Hey, I can't help singing it, y'all. Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut Marinara. Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Marinara. Yes. All right, let's cover her up and let her simmer in her juices. So I'm actually gonna put this on my other burner. That way it'll cook up a lot quicker. And that way we can get eating, we can get eating, we can get eating and get going. All right, y'all. So our water looks like it's boiling up. I'm gonna let it turn up just a little bit higher before I add in my noodles. So I have my walnut meat right here. We're gonna move on over to your food processor. You're gonna add in your walnuts, your sun-dried tomatoes, and also your sunflower seeds. And then y'all, we gotta add in our seasoning. So let's add in some fresh parsley flakes or whatever Italian seasoning you have. Like I said, I'm doing kind of a mix of everything because I want really dynamic flavors in this. And I'm going in on my seasoning. I'm adding in about 1 tablespoon of all of my seasoning and my spices, except for the liquid smoke, which we're gonna talk about in just a little bit. So I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of my Italian seasoning as well. Really go in on your seasonings, y'all. Y'all know how it is. Seasoning is everything. Seasoning is everything. Whoa, seasoning is everything. When you're making vegan food, when you're making any food, y'all, you got to go in on your seasoning. And that's why your girl is here today talking about it. All right, I got my garlic powder and my onion powder. Y'all don't forget about her. You see how we're using her in everything. Just adds on dynamic flavor, spice, and everything nice. Add in 1 tablespoon of each of these into your Hearty Walnut meat. There we go, sprinkle her in. And then add in that onion powder as well. And then we're gonna add in our salt and pepper, and then we're gonna move on to our liquid smoke. Just add in a touch of that. So I'm gonna be adding in about 1 tablespoon of my salt, my pink Himalayan salt. salt, 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 salty. Maybe I'm a salty girl. I don't know, y'all. Stay tuned, stay tuned. Add in about 1 tablespoon of your crushed pepper. Typically, I find myself adding more salt than pepper in recipes like this, but like I said, it all kind of depends to what your taste is, what you like, and how you get going and glowing in the kitchen, y'all. Also, this is a nice little arm workout I got here. Ha, 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 pepper. Ah, you can do a little dance with the legs at the bottom. That way you're working out your whole body. Ooh, I see this is boiling up, so we're gonna add in our noodles. Ooh, we're gonna add in our noodles in just a little bit. So I added in all of my main seasonings. Let's also add in a splash of some of our oil. This will help things move along, especially if you have sun-dried tomatoes instead of the ones that are in oil. This is gonna help things get going and just make things a lot easier. Let's see how we're doing. Ooh, let me check in on her. She's boiling, y'all, she's boiling. All right, let's add in some liquid smoke, just a dab, more than 1/2 of a teaspoon. Just a splash of it. You don't want the smokiness to overpower the flavor, but you still want it to be up in there. Let's also add in some of that smoked paprika. Not too much of it. We don't want this too heavy on the smoked paprika. We also already have that in our Hearty Marinara. So let's add in just a touch of this. I would say about 1/2 tablespoon of your smoked paprika. Hey, yeah. And then y'all, pop your top on of your food processor and just pulse away, pulse away, pulse away. Let's pulse it away. It's working! So what I'm doing is I am grinding it down into tiny little pieces. So basically what this Hearty walnut meat is replicating is like a ground beef. So you want it in nice small pieces. So that way you can add it into a taco or you can add it to like a raw lasagna. But today, y'all, we're doing it on the spaghetti. So I'm gonna keep pulsing it until it's tiny pieces, and I'll come show y'all the pieces and the exact way that it should be. All right. Yes, this looks fabulous. Y'all gonna freak out about how meaty this looks. Wow, look at this epic Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut Marinara, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Marinara. Look at our Hearty Walnut food processor. If you don't have a food processor, I see your question, McKinley. Hello, girl. If you don't got a food processor, you can also use a blender as well. It just may come out a little bit finer, and don't use too much liquid because it may liquefy, all right? But look at our walnut meat, y'all. Look at this. This is perfect. This is exactly how you want it. Nice and crumbly, chunky, seasoned. Look at all that seasoning on there. Seasoning is everything. Y'all, look at this. All right, we have our main ingredients done. The next thing we have to do is just make our noodles, y'all. So I have my hot water boiling right here. And what I'm gonna do is, I like cutting my noodles in half. I'm just gonna grab however much I think Ace and I are gonna munch on today, which is a lot, okay? Because we hungry hippos. We've been filming all morning, getting ready for this cooking class and shooting some other fun things as well. So I'm grabbing like half of the bag. Dang, we must be hungry, girl. Are your eyes bigger than your stomach? Stay tuned. And I'm just cutting it in half. And you can use whatever kind of noodle you want to use. I'm using obviously gluten-free because your girl cannot consume gluten. It really messes up my skin and just kind of makes me feel funky inside. So I'm using, like I said, this beautiful brand. Tinkyada, I believe is how you pronounce it. And you can get this online. You can get this at pretty much any grocery store. I've seen it at Sprouts, at Whole Foods, at Tom Thumb, at Ralph's, at Kroger, at Vaughn's. I've seen it at so many other places. I've actually seen it also at like CVS before too. CVS got some crazy things, but they got actually some fierce vegan options there. So I'm adding in about 2 servings, 2 big helpings, and I'm just gonna chop this up and give this a good stir. And then I'm gonna add in just a dash of some oil. That way it'll be easier for things to separate. So there we go. Let me add in a little splash of oil. Also, just a fun fact, I know we're not making rice today. We made rice in our last live cooking class. But if you add in a little squeeze of lemon into some rice, it'll come out nice and soft and it won't come out mushy. So there's just a little tip for you if you're making rice at home. I know a lot of us are eating a lot of rice and beans lately. So let's add in about 1/2 tablespoon of some oil or whatever kind of oil you're using. Grapeseed oil is what your girl got today. And then just mix that in. And we're gonna let these noodles cook to perfection. And while these noodles are cooking on high first, I'm gonna put them on high for about 6 minutes, depending on whatever the bag says. Actually, let's see, let's check in on our bag. So this is kind of my rule of thumb. I like to cook it for half of the time that they tell me to cook it on the heat, and then I take it off the heat, and that's how long I cook it for as well. So this one says, cook it for 15 to 60 minutes. So that means for about 8 minutes. Let's see, what time is it? It's 1:43. 1:43, that means in 8 minutes, we are going to take this off the heat. We're gonna see how our noodles are doing, and then we're gonna put everything together. So I'm gonna actually move this on over to my adult burners in the back so this can get cooking nice and quickly. These are like my show burners, and the other ones are like the ones that actually work really well. So that's typically what I use whenever I'm doing with my cooking classes or with my cooking shows. I'll either use all 6 of the burners. I'll use 1, 2, and then these ones in the back, or sometimes I'll cook it up here or cook in the back. Kind of all just depends on what the recipe is. So, all right, but let's see. I have my Hearty Walnut. Got my Hearty Walnut meat right here. I'm gonna transfer this over to a bowl. That way we'll be able to build all of our ingredients together. So let's see, get yourself a bowl right here and just transfer over that Hearty Walnut meat. Oh, wow, that little bit of smokiness is really coming through. And we're gonna put this on top of our marinara. We're just gonna pile on the flavor, pile on the seasoning, pile on the deliciousness. And as y'all can see, obviously this ingredient is made out of pantry ingredients. That's kind of what I've been focusing on lately, especially since we kind of all have to be focusing more on what we're stocking up on these days. So I thought it'd be fun to create something that we all love, some comfort food that we all know and care about, but something that you can make out of ingredients you probably already have at home. So there we go. Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut Marinara, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Walnut, Hearty Marinara. I love this recipe, y'all. I'm gonna keep my spoon, because that way I'm gonna spoon out all of that meat on top of my spaghetti. All right, ooh, look at this, our sauce. She is cooking up real nice. Transfer her on over here. Let y'all look at this. Wow. Hearty Marinara, Hearty Marinara, Hearty Marinara, Hearty Marinara, Hearty Marinara. This is my go-to recipe, y'all. And I think what really makes it fabulous, honestly, is that smoked paprika and also that maple syrup. Maple syrup. All right, y'all. I'm gonna clean up a little bit while my noodles are cooking down. Like I said, I have my walnuts and all of my other delicious ingredients. I'm gonna go over these spices that we used again today, because these are some of the spices that I use in all of my recipes, y'all. Garlic powder, obviously. Garlic powder and onion powder, they go together. They are a couple, if you will. All right. garlic powder, onion powder. Thyme I use in all of my Jamaican recipes. As well, I use it a lot of the time in like classic American dishes. You know, if I'm doing anything like rosemary, thyme, oregano, things that kind of have that flavor to it. Anything that I kind of want to have like a little poultry flavor to it, I'll add in some thyme as well. And then some parsley flakes, and then my Italian seasoning as well. Parsley flakes, sometimes I'll even add this on for like a little green, fresh element. Maybe I'll add it on the very top of our delicious spaghetti. In fact, I'll keep that out. And then we have our sunflower seeds, tons of protein. I mean, y'all, check out how protein-packed our meal is going to be. We have the cashews, we have the sunflower seeds, and we have the walnuts, as well as we have the brown rice pasta that I'm using. Obviously, if you're not using a brown rice pasta, that's your life, that's your dream, live your life, live your dreams. But your girl likes to get in that extra fiber, that extra protein, you know what I'm saying? So, ooh, hello, you hot? I feel you, girl. Ooh, but you smell delicious. Dang, she smells just a little bit of sweetness I can smell at the very end. Oh, then that liquid smoke we were talking about. I use this in my barbecue jackfruit, and also in if I make barbecue jackfruit tacos, or sometimes I'll roast potatoes and squirt a little bit of this on there. Just makes things taste nice and smoky. And then of course, y'all, smoked paprika, hey, smoked paprika, hey, yeah. Smoked paprika. And then the grapeseed oil. I don't know about y'all, but for me, I don't typically, I'm not a very like non-oil kind of girl. I go in with the oil. I fry things. I saute things. I'm just an oily girl, oily and salty gal, if you will. But grapeseed oil has a nice lightness to it. It's not heavy like canola or corn or any of those other kind of processed oils. Canola oil, or also the other one I typically use is safflower seed oil. It's a little heavier than the grapeseed oil, kind of has a little bit more viscosity, if you will, but it's also a pretty good oil to use if you don't want to use the canola oil or anything. Ooh, and then we also had our minced garlic. Let me put that off to the side. Woo! Ooh, let me check in on our noodles. Let's see. Sometimes I like to make sure to move them around as they're cooking. That way, obviously, they don't get stuck together as quickly. There we go. Yes, actually, I think it's time to move her on up. Move 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 the food on up. Hey, move on up. Move on up. Move on up. Move that food on up. Let me actually scoot this just a little bit. That way y'all can get a better view. Look at that. The food is coming towards you. So hopefully if you're cooking at home, you got your noodles, you got your Hearty Marinara, and you also got your walnut meat ready to go, y'all. Ooh, also, I do have some fresh basil I had from a little while ago. This actually is from like a week ago. I don't know why it's so good, but I ain't mad at her. Celery juice, hey, celery juice. I'm drinking me some celery juice. Whoa, celery juice, oh, celery juice. I'm drinking me some celery juice. I forgot about you, girl. I'm gonna sip on you. She is delicious. She's exactly what I needed to eat before. I don't know if y'all do this as well. If you do drink celery juice at home, I like to drink mine like 30 minutes or an hour before I eat anything. That way, my body's just ready to accept whatever flavors come in my body. All right, so let's see how your pasta is doing. I would check in on it. Let's see, we started this we got about 1 more minute. All right, 1 more minute on the heat, and then I'm gonna cook it for another 8 minutes off the heat. You can obviously go in and see how your noodle's doing. I can obviously tell just from the thickness of that noodle, this needs a lot more cooking on it. So let's make that. Turn up the heat for 1 more minute, and then like I said, then we go turn it off for another minute, and this is the best way that I found to cook gluten-free noodles. For me, y'all, I don't know about y'all's process, but that's just me. All right, let's see what else. So we have our noodles cooking. We got our walnut meat. We got our Hearty Marinara. I can actually turn her down. Oh, she is down. She is hot and saucy. Smell her. Ooh. If you're at home, take a good whiff of that Hearty Marinara. Take a good whiff, and you can sing to her. Hearty Marinara. I use her in my Beyond Layered Lasagna. Beyond Layered Lasagna. And then also I've made a spaghetti squash with meatballs. Spaghetti squash and meatballs. Spaghetti squash and meatballs with the Hearty Marinara. She comes through for me, y'all. The meatball recipe, this is actually a really quick, easy recipe I can help y'all with real quick. So basically what you do is you get some Beyond Meat sausage and you just skin it nice and thin. Take off that little layer of skin and then you separate them, add in some fresh parsley, roll them up into balls, put it on a frying pan, let it soak in its juices. Y'all, you got some fierce meatballs that only require 2 ingredients, okay? So none of this crazy, ground up your own thing. I mean, you could, if you really wanted to, you could do something similar to the walnut meat, but you don't gotta be playing all those games now. We don't gotta be doing all the fancy things now. Let's see. Come on, noodles. How we doing, noodles? Ooh, are y'all's noodles cooked? Raise your hand if your noodles cooked. Whoa, raise your hand if your noodles cooked. Whoa, raise your hand. I gotta put my hands down though, because then my noodles are not cooked. My love, now would be a good time for me to introduce the world to Ace Anderson. Ace Anderson, the modern Renaissance man. Ace Anderson, do you want to be in my video, baby? Come on up, baby. He's organizing all of our gadgets and things. Y'all, this is my beloved partner and best friend in the whole world. This is Ace. Have you ever eaten this? Have I ever made this for you?
Some variation.
Yeah, I think I've made this. I've definitely cooked noodles before once in my life, y'all. So, y'all, I don't know if y'all know this about Ace, but one, he's so cute. He's so cute. But also, y'all, he is a spoken word poet. He's an actor. He's a singer. He's a musician. He's a graphic designer. He's a director. He does it all, baby. He does it all, y'all. And he's helped me build One Great Vegan to what it is today. But I think that people want to hear, I don't know, like sometimes in my cooking classes, like people ask for poems and like, I don't know if you want to do a poem. I'm just like here, like, I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm just
trying to bore me out.
I'm just trying to let the people know what's good. Do y'all want to hear a poem? Raise your hand if you want to hear a poem. Look at all the hands raising, baby. You can't see it because they're virtually away from us, but they're raising. I see it. Hello, raise your hand. Yes, I see you, girl. Yes, girl, yes. All right, baby. I'm going to let you take it away. I'm going to drink my juice now and let my noodles cook.
I don't have anything I think that's particularly appropriate.
That's okay. We don't gotta be appropriate. We in crazy times. Who wants to be appropriate? Not I, said the gal. Not I.
But how about if you're really down, check us out on Monday at 7 o'clock live.
Dang, you ain't gonna do it. You gonna leave me?
Well, I mean, I want to save some of the work that I'm doing right now for
I'm gonna just cook my noodles. For myself now, apparently. Because you don't understand, I was hoping I hear a little poem, a little sauce. That's okay, boo. That's okay. I know. There's poetry in your eyes, child. There's poetry in your smile, child. All right, y'all. Ooh, actually, I think that might have been perfect timing, baby, because
great.
Our noodles are done, my love. All right, y'all. So if you're at home and you're cooking along, it's time to feast. It's time to feast. It's time to feast. All right, let's get out our noodles. First, let me check in on our girl and see how she is doing. Get yourself one of these noodles. You can actually smack it across the wall, and if it sticks to the wall, then boom, your noodle's ready. But this is also a way to tell too, y'all. And she's ready. All right. I like to always pick up my noodles with tongs. That way I can just shake off any of that extra wetness. Especially with the gluten-free noodles, you want to make sure they're not too soggy and wet. Let me get this ready. Ooh, actually, I'm going to use my pink bowl today. Get yourself some noodles. Load up your bowl full of delicious nudes. Look at her go. Yes. All right, what else we got? Ooh, let me add in a little bit more, y'all. I'm hungry. Fill up your bowl with your nutritional nudes, y'all. Nutritional nudes. Dang, that could be the word. All right, and then we also have our Hearty Marinara. Ooh, yes, she is hearty. So what she's done is she is thickened up. If you left the top on your pot, it's nice and thick now and should have a good consistency that we're gonna add right on top of our noodles. So just spread your sauce just like this, y'all, and adding obviously however much, or you can just let this be and let people build however the noodles they want to build it. But for me, I'm building it for y'all so you can see all the deliciousness. All right, and then let's add on our Hearty Walnut Marinara. Hearty Walnut Marinara. Add that on top. Give it a good sprinkle of that heartiness, that protein, that fiber, that flavor, that fabulousness. There we go. Add that in. And then we have our perfect Parmesan too, y'all. I hope y'all remembered our Parmesan. Sprinkle on some of that perfect Parmesan. Look at that. Wow, dang. That looks so beautiful. If only someone could take photos of me putting this together, that would be wonderful. If only I knew a photographer who could help me capture the moment of food descending into the plate. Oh wait, I know someone. He is Ace Anderson. He'll be here soon. Stay tuned. All right, y'all. Ooh, that perfect Parmesan on top. And then, I don't know if y'all know this about some basil, but I'm gonna roll this into a nice little cylinder, just like that. And then, we're going to use this, and you're just gonna use some scissors. Grab yourself some scissors and just chop it. Nice little fresh element on top of our Hearty Walnut Marinara. Hearty Marinara. Y'all, we are ready to feast. Look at this beautiful bowl. Hopefully y'all all have the same glorious bowl of food right in front of you. Some noodles, some of that sauce, and also that delicious walnut meat. So I'm gonna grab myself a fork and dig in, y'all. Get yourself some of those noodles. Ooh, yes. And that fresh element on top. Look at this. I may even add more of that sauce, y'all, because I'm a saucy, salty, oily girl, y'all. All right. Wow. Wow, y'all. You know what? Do you want some of this, Ace?
I'll try some later.
Y'all, what really kicks this whole thing off, honestly, is that perfect Parmesan on top. Adds a nice umami flavor in there. Yes, get in there, get in there. She is beautiful. She is fabulous. Let me fix her up and show y'all what we created today. Look at this. Hearty Walnut Marinara. Hearty Marinara. I'm gonna sprinkle over just a few more pieces of my basil. And like I said, y'all, if you don't have the basil at home, that's all good. You don't need the basil. We're just making it extra pretty for y'all. Hearty Walnut Marinara. Y'all, look at this beautiful creation we created together. Y'all, thank you so much for coming into my kitchen today. Thank you for cooking with me, singing with me, laughing, dancing. Thank you for your love and for your energy. And I hope y'all are able to dig into a huge plate of this Hearty Walnut Meat Marinara. I'll see y'all next Saturday at 1 p.m. for another live free cooking class with music, song, all the things that we need during these wacky and crazy times, y'all. I'll see y'all next time, my loves. Hearty Walnut Marinara.